All right, let's ditch these snow boots and grab our cleats, because we're diving deep into Japanese football today.
Sounds good to me.
We've got some really interesting source material that you've sent us about Omiya Ardija
Yeah.
and their upcoming Red Bull takeover.
Yeah, this will be fascinating to see how this unfolds.
It will.
Thankfully we've got a football manager playthrough by a content creator called Dekan.
Yeah.
And he's known for being very meticulous in his approach. And so it's not just like watching somebody play a game. We're getting a glimpse into the mind of a manager as he kind of navigates this challenge.
Yeah, I noticed right away the name change.
Oh, yeah.
So in 2025, it's going to be RB Omiya Ardija, but they're not using the full Red Bull name.
Right.
It's just RB.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of RB Leipzig in Germany.
Right.
Was there a similar reason behind that?
There could be. Yeah, you might remember that RB Leipzig had to get a little creative with their name because German football regulations prohibit company names.
Right.
So they ended up with Rasenballsport Leipzig,
Wow.
which translates to lawn ball sport,
Okay.
but it cleverly gets the RB in there.
Very clever.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if there's a similar backstory for Omiya Ardija.
Yeah, for sure.
Now let's talk about Dekan, our virtual manager for this deep dive.
Yeah.
He's got quite a track record. He even won a world championship with Angola in a previous playthrough.
Wow.
And what I found really interesting was his dedication to realism. He went so far as to manually update outdated rosters in the game.
Yeah, that attention to detail is really important, I think, because it speaks to something beyond just playing the game for entertainment. I think Dekan's commitment to accuracy allows for a much deeper analysis of the existing Omiya Ardija squad.
Right.
And, it gives us a more realistic view of their strengths and weaknesses.
Well, and speaking of the squad, Dekan immediately highlights two key players.
Okay.
Fabian Gonzalez, the new striker, and Takashi Kahara, their veteran goalkeeper.
Right.
Gonzalez has strong finishing skills, and Kahara boasts above-average stats for the J-League.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like a pretty good starting point.
Yeah, they do seem very promising. Gonzalez's high work rate is particularly noteworthy. While he's not described as being a particularly aggressive player,
Right.
That work rate could indicate that he might adapt well to Red Bull's demanding high-pressing style.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially when you consider the team's overall age.
Yeah.
Their average age is almost 27,
Wow.
which is quite high,
Yeah. That's old for a football team these days.
and not typically what we see from Red Bull teams who tend to favor younger, more energetic players.
Right.
Do you think Dekan's going to have to rebuild the squad with younger talent?
That's a great question. And it really highlights a potential clash of philosophies here. Red Bull is known for these young stars that they bring in.
Yeah.
But Dekan's methodical approach kind of suggests that he might see value in the experience of the current squad. So it'll be interesting to see if he views this as an experienced core to build around,
Right.
rather than, as you said, a complete overhaul.
Well, he does have some financial flexibility.
Okay.
He's got a budget of $5 million
Mm-hmm.
and space in the salary cap.
That's always good.
So that should give him a little bit of room to maneuver in the transfer market.
Absolutely. That financial stability is a really valuable asset for a team undergoing a transition like this.
Yeah.
He's got the resources to make strategic signings, but he's going to have to be smart about it.
And Dekan seems to be taking a very strategic approach.
Okay.
He outlines 4 key areas that he wants to address right away:
Right.
tactics, training, squad, evaluation, and finances.
Gotcha.
Let's start with tactics.
Okay.
He's aiming to implement that high-pressing gegenpressing style, made famous by Jurgen Klopp
Right.
and favored by Red Bull.
Yeah, you might be familiar with gegenpressing from Klopp's time at Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's all about winning the ball back immediately after losing it, preferably in the attacking third.
So it's not just about being aggressive.
No, it's more than that.
It's about having the right personnel and executing the system effectively.
Exactly. You need the players that can do it.
And to make sure his players are ready, Dekan overhauls the training regime.
Oh, okay.
He ditches the game's default settings and customizes everything, prioritizing game-specific training and making sure players get enough rest.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
I think, he's not just accepting the game's preset options.
Right.
He's thinking critically about what his players need to perform at their best and trying to maximize their potential while also minimizing the risk of injuries.
Then he moves on to squad evaluation, and he's meticulously analyzing each player's strengths and weaknesses using the in-game tools.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to see him compare his players to the league averages
I bet.
Really trying to understand where improvements are needed.
Yeah, this analytical approach is crucial, I think, for building a cohesive team.
Yeah.
It's about, recognizing individual talent, but also understanding how those talents can work together, most effectively.
Yeah.
It seems like Dekayan is, looking for those hidden gems and figuring out where to best utilize them within his system.
And lastly, he wants a clear picture of the finances.
Okay.
Dekayan is making sure that he understands the budget, the salary restrictions, and all the financial nuances before he makes any moves in the transfer market.
That financial prudence is essential, especially if he's considering a squad rebuild.
Right.
It demonstrates a commitment to responsible management and ensures that, he's making every euro count.
And all of this happens before he even considers the Japanese transfer market.
Oh, wow.
We know that the Japanese transfer window is unique,
Yeah, how so?
with many player contracts expiring at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
So this could create some great opportunities for a manager like Dekayan,
Yeah,
who seems prepared to capitalize on them.
I bet.
But we'll have to wait for the next part of our deep dive to see how that unfolds.
I can't wait. Yeah, the Japanese transfer market is, it's about to get really interesting.
It is.
Dekayan is entering this whirlwind of activity right as the J-League season ends in December.
Okay.
And player contracts are set to expire on January 31st.
So when Dekayan starts his journey on January 8th, he's walking into this frenzy of teams looking for new talent and players eager for their next opportunity.
Right.
It's almost like a giant game of musical chairs.
It is.
But with football players instead of chairs.
Exactly. And this is where Dekayan's meticulous preparation and financial planning will likely pay off. He's going to need to move quickly and strategically to secure the players that he wants.
It sounds like he has some targets in mind.
Yeah.
But the competition is going to be fierce.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious, how does he approach finding the right players?
Okay.
Does he rely solely on the game's recommendations, or does he go beyond that?
That's a good question. One of the things that makes Dekayan's approach so fascinating is that he does go above and beyond.
Okay.
He doesn't just rely on the game's suggestions.
Right.
He does his own research. He watches match highlights,
Wow.
analyzes player stats, and even scouts potential acquisitions in person.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It's like he's living a double life, managing this virtual team
Yeah.
while becoming an expert on Japanese football in real life.
I know. It's pretty cool.
It seems like his dedication goes beyond just winning the game.
Absolutely. His passion for the game really shines through.
Yeah.
It's clear that he's immersing himself in the world of Japanese football, learning the nuances of the J-League and understanding the strengths and weaknesses of the teams.
So he's not just chasing big names.
No, not at all.
He's looking for value,
No.
potential,
Right.
and the right fit for his system.
Exactly.
It sounds like we're about to witness a masterclass in scouting and recruitment.
Indeed, Dekayan is really showing us that, successful managers aren't just tacticians on the pitch. They're talent spotters. They're negotiators and even storytellers. Convincing players to buy into their vision.
It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Where the pieces of players, and he's trying to create the perfect picture of a winning team.
I like that analogy.
Watching him weigh his options and make those tough decisions is really captivating.
Yeah.
He's constantly balancing short-term needs with long-term goals.
Right.
It's not just about building a team for one season.
Yeah.
It's about building a foundation for sustained success.
Exactly. And this is where the Red Bull influence comes back into play.
Okay.
They're known for their emphasis on youth development,
Right.
high-pressing football, and a global network of clubs.
So it's almost like he's playing chess on multiple boards.
Yeah, it is.
He needs to consider the immediate needs of the Omiya Argicha squad,
Right.
the Red Bull philosophy, and the unique dynamics of the Japanese transfer market.
Absolutely. It raises an important question. How much autonomy does Dekayan have within the Red Bull system?
Right.
Is he free to pursue his own vision, or does he have to adhere to certain guidelines and directives?
It seems like he's trying to find that balance between staying true to his principles and navigating the complexities of a corporate-owned team.
Yeah, for sure.
He clearly respects the Red Bull philosophy, but he also seems to have his own ideas and a strong desire to leave his mark on the club.
Yeah, and this theme resonates with a lot of real-life managers as well.
Yeah.
Finding that balance between your coaching philosophy and the expectations of ownership can be a real challenge.
Yeah.
So Dekayan's playthrough gives us this, unique perspective on this dynamic.
And it's all unfolding through the lens of a video game.
Yeah.
Which adds another layer of intrigue.
It does.
We're seeing the inner workings of a manager's mind.
Right.
The decisions, the strategies, and the challenges all laid bare.
Yeah. It's like we have a behind-the-scenes pass to the world of professional football.
It is.
But it's more than just this strategic side, you know?
Right.
DeCann's personality and passion really make this deep dive entertaining.
I agree. His commentary is insightful.
Yeah.
And often humorous.
He's a funny guy.
He's not afraid to show his excitement, celebrate victories, and analyze his mistakes.
That's important.
It makes you feel like you're right there in the dugout with him.
I bet.
Experiencing the roller coaster of emotions that come with being a football manager.
Exactly. He's created a compelling narrative that draws you in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about watching a team win, you know, it's about connecting with the story and the characters involved.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to DeCann's ability to not just play a game, but to craft a captivating story.
So knowing what we've learned about DeCann, his approach to management and the challenges ahead, what are you most looking forward to seeing as his journey with RB Omiya Ardija continues?
Well, I'm really interested to see how DeCann integrates his new signings into the existing squad. How he manages those veteran players who might be on their way out. And how he handles the cultural differences of managing in a foreign country. All while trying to implement this high-intensity, high-pressing style of play.
Those are all great points. I'm also curious to see how his relationship with the Red Bull hierarchy evolves. Will he be able to maintain his autonomy? Or will he have to make compromises along the way?
Those are all great questions.
We'll have to keep watching to see how it all plays out. Welcome back to our deep dive into RB Omiya Ardija. We've talked about the Red Bull takeover, DeCann's meticulous approach to management, and his strategic moves in the transfer market. Now let's get into the heart of the action, the tactics.
All right, this is where DeCann's deep understanding of the game and his meticulous planning really come together. He's a self-proclaimed disciple of Jurgen Klopp and believes in that high-pressing, high-intensity style that's synonymous with both Klopp and Red Bull.
Exactly. He's all in on gauge and pressing. Which, as we've mentioned, is about winning the ball back immediately after losing it, preferably in the attacking third. It's aggressive.
It is.
It's relentless. But when it's done well, it can be incredibly effective.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So DeCann's first move is to implement his preferred 4-2-3-1 formation. It's a versatile formation offering both attacking width and defensive solidity. But what really stood out to me were the subtle tweaks he made to tailor it to his team.
He's not just pulling a formation out of a textbook.
Right.
He's adapting it to fit the strengths of his players and the specific demands of the J-League.
Exactly.
For example, he's opted for a more compact shape.
Okay.
With the wingers tucking in to create a tighter midfield unit.
Mm-hmm.
This helps control the center of the pitch and makes it easier to swarm opponents when possession is lost.
And he's instructed his players to use shorter, quicker passes, emphasizing a fast tempo and direct attacking movements.
It's all about keeping the opposition off balance and creating those scoring opportunities through those rapid transitions.
That focus on speed and efficiency is a core part of the Red Bull philosophy.
Oh, for sure.
They want their teams to play with energy, aggression, and a constant drive to attack.
Yeah.
It seems like DeCann's tactical approach is perfectly aligned with that vision.
Seems so.
But it's not just about attacking, right?
Right.
DeCann's just as meticulous about his defensive organization.
Okay.
He demands aggressive pressing from his forwards, forcing errors, and limiting the opposition's time on the ball. And his midfielders are tasked with screening the defense, intercepting passes, and winning those crucial second balls.
So it's a complete approach, with every player on the pitch understanding their role and executing it with precision.
Yeah, you see this constant shifting of positions, players covering for each other, seamlessly working together to shut down the opposition's attack.
And we can't forget about the mental aspect of gauge and pressing. It demands incredible stamina focus and a never-give-up attitude.
It does?
Players need to be willing to push themselves to the limit, chase every loose ball, and maintain that intensity for the full 90 minutes.
And DeCann seems to understand that building a successful team goes beyond tactics and formations.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's about creating a winning mentality, fostering team spirit, and developing that shared understanding of the game.
It's about the culture.
It is.
You gotta create a culture where players are motivated, disciplined, and hungry for success.
And that brings us back to DeCann himself.
Yeah.
He's not just a tactician, he's a leader. a motivator, a master communicator.
He is.
He's able to translate his vision to his players and inspire them to buy into his system.
And it's been fascinating to watch him evolve as a manager.
It has.
He's constantly learning, adapting, refining his approach.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to experiment, to try new things, and to learn from his mistakes.
And that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. It's not just about watching a team win matches in a video game.
Right.
It's about gaining insight into the complexities of football management, understanding the challenges and rewards of leadership, and witnessing the power of a shared vision.
It reminds us that success in football, just like in life, is rarely a solo effort.
It isn't.
It's about teamwork, dedication, and that relentless pursuit of excellence.
I have to say, I'm impressed by DeCane's passion, his meticulous approach, and his unwavering belief in his vision.
Me too.
I'm excited to see what the future holds for him and RB Omiya Ardija. Who knows, maybe we'll see them contending for the J-League title.
Wouldn't that be something? It just goes to show that even in a virtual world, anything is possible with the right mix of talent, dedication, and maybe a bit of luck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to all our listeners, we encourage you to check out DeCane's YouTube channel and follow along on his journey with RB Omiya Ardija. You might just learn a thing or two about football management and the power of pursuing your dreams. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the passion for the beautiful game alive.